I now request Shri Asok Kumar to kindly join us at the dais to deliver his special address on water security and sustainable infrastructure for urban resilience. Please welcome him with a huge round of applause.
Honorable Mayor of 𝗏𝗏𝗃𝗁 Corporation, Mrs. Dimple Vinod Mehtaji, 𝗔𝗱𝗱𝗿𝗀𝗀𝗃𝗁𝗁 Deputy Mayor, all the dignitaries today and all the participants. At the onset, let me congratulate the 𝗏𝗏𝗃𝗁 Corporation for its 25th birthday. And I realized that I saw the film, it's a very hidden secret. My batchmate, Mr. Chahal, was the principal 𝗏𝗏𝗃𝗁 Corporation chief, and Rajesh, the chief secretary. There, when we regularly talk about various aspects, they never mentioned about this municipality. But I was a big eye-opener when he told me that this is one of the largest and the fastest growing municipal corporation in Maharashtra. And the way it has transformed in last maybe 25 years from a very small fishing village to a very big urban metropolis is phenomenal. Let me again congratulate the organizers for organizing the National Sustainable Urban Innovation Summit, Maharashtra edition, with focus on policy, people, and innovation, and Viksit Maharashtra. I've been very much associated with Mumbai. Before joining IAS, I was with the Tata Institute of Fundamental Research. So I used to stay back in Colombo, and this is the road I used to run morning. I used to jog in the morning. Not much change has happened in this part, but a lot of changes happened in the other part from here, from the Bobby Marine Drive. It's amazing that the vision of the Honorable Chief Minister and the Maharashtra government administration for building up this wonderful infrastructure and leading in the development of urban sector in this country. Congratulate the whole ecosystem here for this wonderful transformation which is being brought about. I pick up three words from the title given. It is urban, where the future is. Villages are, people from villages are moving towards urban areas, so urbanization is a big way. We have to accept it, and maybe in another 10, 15 years, majority of the population of the world will be in urban areas. So we have to now cope up with the urbanization. Sustainable, again another buzzword, which has to be understood in proper context, because from a linear economy, from a linear way of thinking, now we want a circular model where we can sustain the growth every time. So this sustainable part has to be self-propelled, never-ending civilization. So, and the third one is innovation. To have sustainability, we have to have innovation, not business as usual. We have to be very, very proactive in thinking differently and try to come out with solutions which are very simple, citizen-centric, and technology-oriented. Among the various topics listed out today, I will be focusing on water. Water is the most vital, but the least development talked about, because it's always taken for granted. It is the elephant in the room, but nobody sees the elephant till your tap dries out or till you don't get water. Then you realize how important water is. Water is critical not only for the human beings to live, but also for the economic growth. So when we talk about the $40 trillion economy, probably water would be one of the most critical constraint or restrictions. So it's better we start thinking about water from now onwards and see that this will never be a constraint for our growth. Is it about availability? No. We always hear plenty of rainfall. We always hear urban floods. We always hear that places are getting submerged with rainfall, very intense rainfall. It is not about the availability of water. It is about climate change, which has brought in the way the rain comes in, the way nature opens up to us to give water. What used to happen in about 3 months, 4 months' time, because of the climate change, the water is coming up in very short time, and then cities like Mumbai, Hyderabad, Chennai, which we never had floods, are now having recurrent urban floods. So urban flooding is one major concern. So water availability is not exactly is the problem. The problem is of demand and supply management. In India, the water availability or rain water availability is almost constant for last maybe a decade or maybe 50 years. It is how the demand has gone up and how we manage the demand, how we mismanage the demand, that's matter. So it is basically the water security is about urban demand and supply side management properly. It has to be respected, treated well, with the pun intended. Water has to be treated well, respected, and appreciated that it is a finite resources. Because we have been taught to believe that water is infinite, Qudrat ki dene, aate rahenge, and that's why we never bother about a dripping tap. We never bother about flowing water from the tankers, because municipal corporations have this problem. Every tanker in the municipal corporation leaks. The non-revenue water in most of the municipalities in India is about 40% to 30 to 40%. That means nobody knows where the water goes, primarily because of issues which we neglected. Governance issue, I'll come to that later. I'll take only 10 to 15 minutes allotted to me. So the way this happens is because we have neglected water and thought that it is a unlimited resource. There are two things when it comes to water security. One is about the quantity and second is about the quality. Because even if you have good quantity of water, add some dirt into it, add some pollutant into it, good water becomes bad water, it is of no use to us. So water quality is important, and we also have to talk about water quantity. The water available with us for our potable purposes is very limited. And even though we know that 70% of the universe is water and we have a lot of water sources available, but the potable water or useful water is very limited, less than 2%. So we have to manage that water properly to ensure that we don't have any problems. So these are two things which are very critical when it comes to water security. And I think Rupa will talk about the solid waste management. Water is all polluted by two, liquid as well as solid pollutant. Solid pollutants ke baare mein I think Rupa will speak. Liquid pollutants are, you all aware, sewage and industrial waste, which we very barely dump in water and causes a lot of good water to become bad water. Now, if you are talking about water security, these two issues have to be attained. And everyone knows that the major points for water conservation is the 5 R's, which we generally talk about, is reduce, recycle, reuse, and respected recharge. I'm not getting into that because that's something related to the behavioral aspect, since most of you here are from the urban planners, because I'm told it's all municipal people here, engineers and planners are here. So I'll talk about the issues related to the planning part of it. I'll talk about urban planning principles and fundamentals for policymakers. The first would be that water should be a part of urban planning process. This has now been done. I've been in the urban planning in Hyderabad. I started in 2004, the outer ring road in Hyderabad, a road which is now the earmark, a big USP of Hyderabad, the 10-lane road, 2004. So all of us at that time thought infrastructure, building infrastructure is urban planning. Big roads, because we leave a legacy and we say that, okay, this is the road which we have built. But we never took water as an important element of planning. So my first request is, infrastructure is due, it is important, It gives a good name, good fame. People remember you for the infrastructure. But we have to include water in the planning process, which we have always missed out. So water, particularly in the urban sector, because it is, the drinking water is essential, and this 80% of drinking water comes out as sewage. So treatment of sewage and managing sewage is very important. So these are very, very essential, how we keep urban in our plan, water in mind when the urban planning. So it's good to talk about, as I said, railways, traffic, zoning, metros, etc., where money is, engineers are happy, officials would be happy with concrete works and bridges and flyovers, but basic fundamental aspect of life, water, has to be understood and be part of the urban planning process. How we treat sewage is very important. How we dispose of sewage is very important. How we treat rivers is very important. Because probably India is the only country where river flowing by the side of city is a bin. You go to any foreign country, river flowing by the side is a very, very important aspect with aesthetic sense and increases the value of a property. Where in India, a river flowing by the side probably reduces the value because of the mosquitoes and the sewage and the stink it brings in. It's high time we start thinking river as a potential value enhancement growth engine for the city. It improves aesthetics, it improves value, it increases the health of the people. So river flowing by the side, managing that is also very important in the urban planning process. So in National Mission for Clean Ganga, which I headed, we had something called a River City Alliance. 2 years back, we had a big meeting in Pune. About 142 cities on the banks of rivers, of various rivers in the country, had met together. At that time, from the National Mission for River Conservation, I had the privilege to sanction about 2,000 crore for Mulla Mitar rejuvenation. We had suddenly woken up to the fact that rivers can be developed and it can be a part of the major infrastructure or development process of the cities. So again, how we treat the water, how we use that sewage for recycling is very important. So we need to have water as a key element in in urban planning. Second is people-centric planning. We have to make people as a center of the planning. This again is one thing which we miss out. We keep away people and we plan because we plan to have road. We want to have our flyovers. We want to have our own systems, but without getting people feedback. So we have to keep urban planning people-centric, and this is very important in water because water is a huge resource, and if we can involve people in planning, we can make a lot of difference. The 𝗏𝗃 𝗏 campaign, which we had started in 2020, which has been taken over by the Ministry of Jal Shakti and the Honorable Prime Minister pushing it as Jal Shakti Abhiyan 𝗏𝗏 𝗏 campaign, is the best example of a decentralized, democratized water management. The water which comes from the sky as rain, our target was to catch the rain where it falls, when it falls. This is a total 180-degree turn from what we used to think earlier. We were taught that the temples of modern India are the dams. Bakra Nangal is a temple of modern India. Our philosophy at that time was to take the water somewhere far away, store it in a dam, and then bring it back through canals. This has tremendous environmental problem, environmental issues, displacement issues, submergence issues, lot of money involved, time delays, and when the dam is constructed, half of them is not very safe, probably not used properly. So from there, we turned it around for decentralized, democratic storage of rainwater. Catch the rain where it falls, when it falls. घर का पानी घर में, खेत का पानी खेत में, गांव का पानी गांव में, आपके आंगन का पानी आंगन में. If you keep that water there, it has multiple advantages. One, it improves your water table. It retains your water in your compound. Second, it also mitigates one of the biggest problems with all the municipalities are facing now, urban flooding. Why is it urban flooding happening? The water which is flowing into your compound, which you have stopped percolating it down because of the concrete and tiles. That water comes onto the road, and water will flow to the lowest area and it will flood the lower area and causes absolute damage there. So urban flooding is a direct effect of what we practice of not catching the rain. So this Catch the Rain campaign, where it falls, when it falls, which we are starting in Delhi next month also, next week, is one thing which our planners should keep in mind. Rainwater harvesting structure should be part of all buildings. It has to be not for the first time occupancy certificate. It has to be checked and maintained every year. The dual supply system can be happen. That's again next stage. It's a costly proposition. But if that can also be added into the decentralized planning, your demand can be properly managed. Now I extend it further to the sewage also. Now what's the present system of sewage planning now? We take the sewage, take it in through sewer lines to some other part of the city, use a big STP there, beautiful big STPs, and treat the water there and bring it back in for reuse. Can't we extend this logic of catch the rain where it falls, when it falls, to treat the sewage where it falls, when it falls? Again, a small decentralized STPs would be the best solution. For a ward or 1,000 houses, 100 houses, we can have modular STPs. That would be a big advantage, because I would definitely not want your sewage through open drain paraded through the city to some other part of the city to get treated. If we can store the treat the STPs, treat the sewage generated in the city at the local level itself in small wards, using modular system. You can have a lot of parks and their underground modular tanks there where you can store it. You can use the treated water for watering the park and also reduce the abstraction of good water. You can use that treated water for non-potable purpose, for washing your car, for watering your lawn. So that can happen only if the people are involved. So people-centric planning is very important. Decentralized planning is important. Third is using technology. I saw a lot of usage of technology. So you have to use technology in a big way to meter and monitor. One of the biggest problem of water in the country is it is never metered. Nobody knows how much water is being used. There is no metering of water, and that is probably one of the reasons that we do not know exactly the data on water, how much water is being used, how much water is being lost. So even if you are not pricing water and collecting money from water, we should have the culture of metering. So the new municipality, Meera Bandar Municipal Corporation, is just a young municipality. So I request that all water in the municipality should be metered. Because when you can, that I always remember the Newton's first law of motion, everything will continue in state of rest or uniform motion unless disturbed. So when a new system starts, you start off with these good habits of metering the water, it will continue. Retrospectively, putting it back a meter in any city, any corporation is always resisted. So my request is the municipalities which are here, they should insist that water is metered for whatever purposes. Where you are not going to charge for it, that will be a policy decision. But knowing how much water is flowing, so water metering has to be ensured. You have to collect data, reach out to citizens before metering them so that they don't object to it. And we can help, that will be helpful in making data-centric decisions. Classic example I can tell you, the SCADA in Hyderabad, when we tried to give daily water in Hyderabad, Hyderabad used to get once in 4 days water through the pipeline. In 2008, when we started this daily water supply, after a period of 24 years, one of the things which helped us was the SCADA. We had this SCADA systems installed, and that helped us in measuring the flow of water. So technology, use it for monitoring, use it for reaching out to citizen, for getting their bills paid, talking to them, and it can also help you reduce the leakage, reduce the non-revenue water, etc. I may have 2 more points only. I'll stop after that. It's 15 minutes, time getting over. Build circularity and build good institutions, because it cannot be a person-centric reform. It has to be an institutional-centric reform, because if you are transferred also, the system should continue. And build circularity right from the beginning. Your linear economy model is over. Whatever water you give for drinking water has to be probably collected back, treated, and used back. So recycling can be built into the system right from the beginning itself. As I mentioned, if you can have a dual pipeline system starting now itself will be very useful, because retrospecting will be very difficult. New municipalities can insist on dual piping system, which can be of great use. One of the principles which I would request all of you, all municipal commissioners, would be to ensure that no potable water is used for non-potable purposes. No potable water should be used for any non-potable purposes. It should be strictly ensured, because the water which you are supplying through taps is value-added water. I know you get water from big dams, bring it here, treat it and supply it through a pipeline, and it is being used for washing water and for watering a plant. That should not be used. So we should help raise awareness for building concept of circularity among people. You have to have resident welfare associations backing you, and probably look at the concept of drinking from the tap, not through ROs. ROs is a big waste of water. And the last is improve water governance. You have to have some authority to look at the water, because now the water authority is distributed, different people handle it. You have to have water authority, something who will look at water as a whole. As I mentioned, 100% metering has to be there. Proper pricing of water is there, so that you don't get free water. You can have some value added to the water so that people appreciate it. Prevent leakage, reduce the non-revenue water, etc. If you do all these things as a part of your planning process right from the beginning, urban planners, you will be leaving a good legacy for your successors, for the future generation, because water is going to be important. With all the beautiful trains, metros, if you have no water, people will leave your city. This has happened in places where the infrastructure, fantastic infrastructure there, if the drinking water was not available, cities collapse. So for you, I request once again that new municipalities start from reforming your water, including water as an important source for important element for planning. See that the systems are built right from the beginning itself, so that you don't have to retrospect anything, and probably you will be remembered for taking the water security. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir, for sharing your insights with us.